Okay, we're back with 7 days. We're going to dig up some more corpses. And so last video I talked a lot about game design and why it's important to follow what the developer intended. Because I was talking about Elden Ring. And I kind of got into this little bit of a loop where I was talking about the same thing over and over again. It's because I'm exhausted. I'm recording all of these in one night, and I am super duper tired. So first of all, I took a ass load of allergy meds, so I'm probably high as fuck right now. But I took like a ton of cough meds and a ton of allergy meds. I have no idea if I'm sick or if I'm just like I just have terrible allergies. But I am just not feeling good at all. I'm just like super duper tired, super duper like not feeling great, and I really want to play more of this. I want to grind out more of this, get it done. Because I do like this game, and I did say I would do this challenge start to finish. And I'm very, very kind of like, I don't know how to describe my feelings on this game, because on one hand, I am definitely like tired of playing it. I don't really enjoy it anymore. It's more so just to get the challenge done. But at the same time, I do like this game. And I do think this game is very, very fun and very, very interesting, and is a good game to try and practice survival in, and, you know, learn how to survive in open world survival games from, because this game does try to kill you at every opportunity. I mean, you can fall to your death, you can step on a landmine, get killed by a bear, die of hunger, thirst. Like, there's a lot of ways you can die in 7 days. But it's a very strange game, because there's things that you should do, and then there's things that don't seem like good ideas, but are good ideas, and seem like great ideas and are terrible. Like me bashing open this because I think there might be some good loot in here. There's probably not good loot in here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And the game will slightly reward me for this anyway, because I'm going to, as I continue to do this, I'm going to get in here, and I'm going to eventually break into this coffin and maybe get something good out of it. Maybe get someone off the corpse in there, but I don't know. And this kind of leads me to talk about my views on risk-reward, because I think risk-reward is a situation of you really have to get something back for it in a game. Like, you really have to get something that's worth your while. And I think this game does that well enough. Like, the fact that I'm going in here, this guy could have a sniper rifle for all I know. He has nothing. That has nothing of value. What about this purse? Maybe it has a handgun in it. It actually does. Okay. Well, I was just giving an example, but shit. All right. But see, that's a good example, though. Like, there was risk-reward to this. I wasted a lot of time getting in here. I stood out there getting heat stroke. But at the same time, I just broke in and I got a weapon and I got a bunch of other stuff. So it was worth it. But that's good risk-reward. That's good game design. And something I want to talk about was, so this is just cemetery, so there's no church in here. Okay, good to know. So I've talked a bit in the past about how one of my least favorite games of all time is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I really genuinely dislike those games a lot, because I think they ruin Zelda, and there's a lot of other problems I take with them, all that stuff. But the other thing I want to talk about is why I hate them so much, because something I've talked about in the past is they're boring, right? They have very, very rudimentary gameplay loops. There's really nothing to them. There's no real randomization. There's no real anything that encourages you to play them again and again. And a good game wants you to play it over and over, because it wants you to get your money's worth out of it, and it wants you to just have fun. That's what a good game does. And that's why I've stated before, I really don't think the newer Zelda games are good. Like, I think the older Zelda games are masterpieces. I think they're extremely well made, well designed. Okay, so this is the Burnt Lands. Oh, that's the radiation. Damn, son. Okay, let's get away from that. Okay, so we found the radiation zone here. So we're finding the... Wow, we've charted out most of this map then. Huh. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, I guess we've charted out most of the map. So we really just haven't found the most northern radiation zone then. So if I want to keep going to the desert, let's go this way, right? Because this leads back to the grasslands. God, I am so slow because of this goddamn heat stroke. Worst part is I can't even take anything off. Like, I don't have anything to actually remove. Like, I have armor and stuff, but I'm not taking that off for anything. Like, absolutely not removing my armor. But, no, like, going back to what I was talking about with gameplay loops is you have to have a really good gameplay loop. And I think it was like 2 videos ago or last video, I can't remember, that I talked about that with Warzone. I talked about the fact that Warzone has a really, really, really bad gameplay loop. Like, of land somewhere that's usually not very populated, get money, get your loadout, win game, right? And because of that gameplay loop, Warzone is always, always, always repetitive and very, very boring. I mean, it's not really easy to have fun playing Warzone because of that gameplay loop. That gameplay loop screws you over so badly. And it's a really interesting case because you can see a good game trying to get out. You can definitely tell there's something there. But the inherent flaw with Warzone is that because of the loadout system, you can't actually have a good gameplay loop. You would have to actually remove that entirely. I mean, maybe if it was just a case of it dropping from the sky randomly, it wouldn't be bad, because it would be like, oh, you have to go out of your way, you have to detour to get to it. But because the player controls where it drops, because the player has to get the money to actually get the loadout drop, it creates a really, really bad design. And it creates a very, very repetitive gameplay loop. And that's a very important thing to understand, is that the gameplay loop has to be fun, it has to be understandable, and it has to be not boring. It has to have some variance to it. And unfortunately, Warzone doesn't have that. And Breath of the Wild doesn't have that either, because you're going to play Breath of the Wild the same way every time. And while you might think, well, the older Zelda games also had a linear narrative to them. But because they had a linear narrative and because they were slower, like, I mean, they were shorter games, they didn't really have the same problems that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have, which is just that they're open world games, and by their nature, open world games are very long and very repetitive. So you'll never really have a good gameplay loop from an open world game. I've talked about my problems with open world games in the past, but basically the issue is that you'll never have a really good game loop out of that. Like, your game loop will always suck, right? Because you're doing the same thing, and it's going to take a long time to do it. I mean, with something like this, right? I mean, as much as I criticize, 7 days for having a lot of problems and glitches and being a very, like, kind of dull game, it's only dull because I played it so much, right? And, I mean, the gameplay loop is different every time I generate a world. I mean, I'm never going to go to the same place over and over. I'm never going to... I mean, obviously, unless you're playing, like, default Navisgane, you're going to do the same thing over and over then, because, of course, you are. But in terms of, like, random gen, it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same thing every time. And I think if, like, the Zelda games, the open world ones, did have a randomized open world, it wouldn't be as bad. I definitely think it could have been more salvageable. But I am definitely glad people are starting to see them for how bad they are, that they're not good games. I think the fact that Tears of the Kingdom got torn apart by a lot of people is a good example of this, because it isn't good. It's not fun to have a game that just really has no plot and is just you running around aimlessly. Like, that's not good game design. That's not fun game design. The player deserves better than that. And I mean, with this, there is an end goal. I have to win. I have to survive. I have to get through 366 dawns if I want to, if I really want to get through this game at a reasonable pace, and if I want to survive, I have to be very careful. I have to know where I'm going. I have to know if there's a bear nearby. I have to be careful of landmines and cacti and a lot of other things. And you can't get the same experience from this game twice. You never will. Right? That is never going to happen. And I just stepped on another cactus. I cannot stop myself. I literally can't stop myself from doing that, can I? I am really shocked we haven't seen any bears in a very long time. In a very long time. Okay, well. I should feel ashamed of that pun. But I don't. I'm going to drink this, get my stamina back. Get out of this desert, because I am really, really losing my stamina and my hydration very fast. And now we got that challenge to actually kill bears, so we actually have to find bears. I mean, we don't want to find them in a really, really unfortunate circumstance, but it would be nice to find one when it's super safe to kill it. So we still haven't explored the most northern part, and I don't know how we can get there because it's a gigantic cliff. Like, if anyone didn't see the last kind of final part of the 2-hour one I did, like, you would know that there is a gigantic cliff blocking the northernmost part of the map. And I'm not sure how we can possibly get there. It's kind of a big problem because we have to get there. I mean, I have to see what's up north. There's gotta be another town. There's gotta be another, like, merchant. You know, there's other stuff we gotta explore. But I don't know how we can get there because there's this gigantic cliff. I mean, maybe we could just go north, like, through the desert and maybe find some way to get up there, but I don't know if it's possible, and that's kind of the issue at hand. We're also going to have to get back to base soon, because it's going to be Horde night tomorrow night, which is really, really unhappy. I'm really unhappy about it. I'm fucking up my words, but it's like, it's 4 a.m. I've been recording for like 2 hours. I've been recording a long, long time at this point, and I'm very, very, very tired. I'm also like high on allergy meds because I don't know what's wrong with me, but I took like a bunch of daytime cold, and I took like a bunch of allergy med stuff just to like try and get myself through the recording session. Okay, so let's just go through here. Steps on landmine instantly. That would be funny. That would actually be funny. Like the one step into the burnt lands I take, I just instantly step on a landmine and just die. Oh god, so we have to get out here now. That's right. Is my like temperature going down at least? I'm rapidly losing temp. Okay, good. That's what I want to see. That's definitely what I want to see. Okay. I'm just gonna like quickly crouch to try and get some shit back. Get some stamina back. I'm also gonna drink some water. We went through a lot of water. Luckily it's an unlimited resource, but eat food. Oh my god, our wellness is almost capped. Nice. I cannot wait till we cap our wellness. That's going to be really nice, because that means, like, we'll get, like, 200 wellness, which will be great. The problem, though, with the wellness is that there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to sustain it, because we don't have sexual Tyrannosaurus. But the nice thing is that it's not the biggest deal in the world. I marked this area here, and I have no idea why. I marked this at some point, and I can't comprehend why I would mark this. There's nothing here. Okay, so we are back out here now. Normally I would go explore that patch that we haven't explored yet, but I think we should just get home. Between the heat stroke and everything else, I think we should just get the fuck out of here. Just get back to like the grasslands as soon as possible. I think we'll definitely spend this night on the rock though. Get up on this rock and just live through this. But no, my viewpoint on gameplay loops is like it should be fun and it should be somewhat variable, because the thing is, when you have the same gameplay loop over and over again, the game just becomes very dull very quick. And I mean, that's kind of the thing with Pikmin, right? Is like why I only play it every once in a while, because it is a very dull gameplay loop. I mean, it's the same exact gameplay loop every single time, and you might get some variance based on like your luck, but for the most part, like the game runs exactly the same every time you play it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially in a game like Pikmin, which is extraordinarily short. Because I'm trying to think, so let me do the math on this. So every day is like 13 minutes, and there's 30 days, so I think the whole game is like maybe 4 hours. And that's assuming you're not like optimizing, because if you're optimizing, you could probably beat Pikmin like 3 hours, 2 hours. It's not a long game. I mean, again, like another great example of like a really satisfying gameplay loop is Luigi's Mansion, which, I mean, that game is less than 3 hours, but like that game is extremely fun. And there's not much variance to it. Like, that's the thing. It is more so an on-rails game. I mean, you might get some variance going in the boss fights with like some random patterns and stuff, but for the most part, it is the same game over and over, but it's just such a good game and such a short game that you don't really care. And I've talked about this, is repetitive games with long like gameplay loops are very, very bad. Like they should be avoided like the plague. Because when a gameplay loop is long and the player is doing the same thing over and over, like we've done almost 63 hours of this, but to give this game credit, this is a completely different gameplay loop than any other time I've played this. I mean, the fact that we've had such terrible terrain is proof of that. So we're gonna have to figure out how to get further, because really all we have left to explore is like north. I mean, we've hit this edge of the screen, and then if we go back, we've hit the absolute bottom of the screen down here. We keep going because we've seen the radiation zone here, and then if we keep going up this way, we've seen the radiation zone here, which means we've hit the maximum there. So all we really have left is like the most northern parts of the map, and there's still quite a bit to explore, but the problem is so much of it is burnt lands that I'm never going to go into it. Like that's kind of the problem, right? Is like I'll never, and we know there's a town here, like for sure there's a town because that's the center of the map. But again, like how do we get there? There's like this gigantic cliff, and I mean we can't go further this way because I was thinking like, oh, we could go further this way and maybe hit it. But this is burnt lands. We don't want to go in there. We can't go here. I tried. This hill is too damn steep. I mean, even if I tried to go down like very carefully, it is literally a wall. Like it's like that. Oh god, what's the name of that reef off the coast of the Caribbean? I know it's called the Wall, but it has like an actual official name. It's very much like that, but on land. It's just this steep wall. But we gotta explore some other stuff. We gotta figure this out because we gotta get up there. I want to get there because I know there's gotta be a town. I'm also suspicious there might be like a city somewhere in the desert, like maybe here, because there's a whole section we did not explore over here. And I mean, maybe once we get past like day 196, we might go up there. I had to pause to stretch really fast. Oh my god, I've been sitting here so long. So I think I'll do one more video this recording session after this, and then I'm just gonna call it and just be done, then edit. I don't even know if this recorded right because that fucking OBS notification. Now I'm like worried. Cause it said like the encoder or something overloaded, which I've never seen before. Yay, OBS problems. I went from Elgato problems to OBS problems. Fantastic. I love it. But no, I have plans for the year. I plan to do Ocarina of Time. I plan to do Princess Peach Showtime. I'm going to do at least one Fire Emblem Iron Man. That's something I for sure want to do because I do love Fire Emblem and I do love doing Iron Man runs. So I think doing one of those would definitely be fun for the channel. I might do a Nuzlocke. We'll see. It all comes down. I don't... The thing is, I did so much PlayStation and Steam content last year that I don't really want to do it too much this year. So I think I'll finish like 7 days in Stardew, and then after that, I'll just probably be done, like semi-permanently. So it's kind of like a thing that I just want to get this done with pretty much. And so yeah, I think next video we'll head back to our base, like our new base, and then from there pretty much just like get everything done we need to get done, like with the Horde Night, and then after that we'll probably like start exploring more of the desert because I really need to find another city and start looting some other stuff because we're running low on resources. Like we have tons of resources, but they're not like the resources we need. We still need auger parts, we still need like ammo, we still need more food, we still need a lot of stuff that I can only find in a town. So that's like the main problem is I need to find food, and I do think one of these days we should just run through the desert picking up corn. That's going to be another thing I'm going to do at some point. And I mean, corn's not the best food, but getting a ton of it would be a good idea. Let's see what our... So athletics is almost level to 89. How about rifles? And construction? Okay, so construction's almost done, so we could probably get that worked on. Mining tools also almost done, so it'd probably be a good idea to get that worked on. Rifles, ooh, it's gonna take a while to level up rifles, but we're gonna be hunting bears at some point soon because we need to get the that challenge done for whatever the reward is. I assume it's just XP or like a level up, but a level up is a fantastic reward. It might even just be skill points for all I know. But anyway, we're done for this video, and next time we're gonna head back to base and deal with Horde Night.